Think back just a few years. If you wanted a new pickup, you didn't walk onto a lot and pick one out. You got on a waiting list. You watched dealers tack on markups of 5, 10, even $15,000 over sticker. You took whatever color and trim showed up on the truck and you said thank you. That was the market. Dealers held all the cards and buyers just paid. Well, the game has flipped. Hard. Some of those exact same dealerships are now sitting on trucks that have been parked on the lot for months. They're paying interest on that unsold inventory every single day. It's called floor plan financing, and it quietly eats away at their profit the longer a truck just sits there. And a truck that won't move becomes a truck the dealer desperately wants gone. Here's what most buyers don't realize, that pressure is your leverage. If you know which trucks are stacking up, you walk in with the upper hand instead of the dealer. So today we're counting down 5 new pickups piling up on dealer lots in 2026, from number 5 to number 1. The higher up the list we go, the worse the inventory, pricing, or demand problem gets. And the number 1 truck? It's the single clearest example of how brutally this market has turned. It went from the most hyped pickup in America to a genuine problem nobody saw coming. If you're into avoiding bad buys, understanding where the market's really headed, and finding trucks you can actually negotiate on, do yourself a favor and subscribe. That's exactly the kind of thing we dig into here. All right, let's get into it. Number 5. The Jeep Gladiator. Industry inventory estimates in 2026 put the Gladiator well past 200 days of market day supply. That's roughly 3 times what a healthy truck should carry. Dealers are sitting on thousands of these and they're not moving. Now let's be fair, the Gladiator is a genuinely cool truck. It's the only midsize pickup you can buy with a removable roof and doors. It's got serious off-road credibility, the Rubicon trim is a legitimate trail weapon, and it carries that Jeep brand loyalty that money can't manufacture. For the right buyer, nothing else on the market scratches that itch. Here's the problem. That right buyer is a narrow slice of the market. The Gladiator asks mid-size truck money, often creeping toward full-size prices once you add the trims people actually want, but delivers a smaller bed, a stiffer ride, and worse fuel economy than a lot of its competitors. So you're paying more for a truck that's less practical as an everyday hauler, and the alternatives are tough. A shopper who wants a do-everything mid-sized truck looks at a Toyota Tacoma with its bulletproof resale, or a Chevy Colorado that drives smoother and costs less. Buyers who want the Jeep lifestyle often just get a Wrangler and save the money. So where's the opportunity? With supply this heavy, dealers have real room to move. Depending on region and trim, you may see manufacturer rebates, bonus cash, and discounts on leftover model year units stacked together. This isn't a bad truck. It's a narrowly focused truck that got priced for a bigger audience than it actually has. Get it right, and it could be a steal. But the Gladiator's problem is nothing compared to what's happening in the electric aisle. That brings us to number 4. Number 4, the Chevrolet Silverado EV. This one's telling. Silverado EV sales reportedly fell more than 30% in the first half of 2026, and some dealers have been advertising discounts that are frankly hard to believe. One listing spotted by the automotive press showed savings north of $20,000 on a single truck. And the wild part? The truck itself is impressive. In the right configuration, the Silverado EV offers huge driving range that beats most electric trucks on the market. It's got a massive frunk, a midgate that opens up serious cargo length, and enough power to embarrass most gas trucks off the line. On paper, it's a technical showpiece. But here's where it falls apart. Many of these trucks arrived with luxury car pricing. We're talking well into the 70s and 80s. And the target buyer for a Silverado is somebody who's been buying practical, proven, gas-powered work trucks their whole life. Ask that person to spend 80 grand on an electric truck and add in the loss of the federal EV tax credit, and the math just stops making sense for them. Compare it to a gas Silverado 1500 or a Ram 1500. Those trucks tow without range anxiety, refuel in 5 minutes anywhere in America, and cost tens of thousands less. For a working buyer, that's not a close call. So the opportunity here is very real. Some dealerships are advertising huge markdowns to clear these out, though those deals vary a lot by location, so don't assume the same number everywhere. If you genuinely want an electric truck and the price drops far enough, this could be one of the best equipped trucks per dollar in the whole market. Just go in knowing the dealer needs this sale more than you need the truck. And its more expensive cousin has it even worse. Number 3. Number 3, the GMC Sierra EV. Take everything happening with a Silverado EV and dial it up, because the Sierra EV is the premium version, which means an even higher price tag and an even smaller pool of buyers. Dealer listings indicate discounts on some units north of $10,000 off already steep sticker prices, with certain extended range trims dropping from the high 70s down into the 60s. The Sierra EV is a beautiful piece of machinery. Real wood trim, a genuinely upscale cabin, that same monster range and towing capability as the Silverado EV, plus GMC's more premium positioning. If you want a luxury electric truck that can also do truck things, it delivers. But here's the buyer psychology. The person shopping a loaded GMC Sierra is often a status buyer. And status buyers care enormously about resale and about how a purchase looks a few years down the road. Right now, electric truck depreciation is a giant question mark. Incentives are shifting, and nobody's confident what an $80,000 electric Sierra is worth in 3 years. That uncertainty freezes buyers in place. They'd rather get a loaded gas Sierra Denali they understand completely. Against a Denali or a Ram Limited, the Sierra EV is fighting an uphill battle on the one thing luxury truck buyers won't compromise on: predictable value. The opportunity? If you're a cash comfortable buyer who plans to keep a truck for a long time and charges at home, the depreciation risk that scares everyone else becomes your discount. Manufacturer incentives and dealer markdowns on these can be substantial. Just get an itemized out-the-door price in writing and compare at least 2 or 3 dealers before you commit. Quick pause here. If this kind of market breakdown is useful to you, tap that like button. It genuinely helps. And I'm curious, which of these trucks would you actually consider if the dealer knocked $10,000 off the sticker? Drop it in the comments. All right, top 2. Number 2, the Rivian R1T. Rivian makes a phenomenal truck, and that's what makes this one sting. In 2026, Rivian began discounting its in-stock R1T inventory as it clears the way for its next model year. Modest cuts on some configurations, larger ones on higher trims. When a company that guarded its pricing this carefully starts marking trucks down, that tells you demand has softened. The R1T earns its praise. It's arguably the best driving electric truck out there, with brilliant off-road ability, a clever gear tunnel, genuinely useful range, and a cult-like owner base that actually uses these trucks for work and adventure instead of just showing off. Reviewers love it, and owners love it. So what's the problem? 2 things. First, price. A well-equipped R1T lands in luxury territory, and Rivian doesn't have the dealer network, the service footprint, or the decades of brand trust that a Ford or Chevy buyer leans on. When you're spending that much on a truck from a young company, that uncertainty gives mainstream buyers pause. Second, it sits in an awkward spot and too expensive and too lifestyle-focused for the work truck crowd, but competing against establishment names for the luxury crowd. A buyer cross-shopping might land on an F-150 Lightning for the dealer support and lower price, or simply decide a proven gas truck makes more sense for now. The opportunity is that those discounts are a signal. As the next model year approaches, outgoing inventory is exactly where the leverage lives. If you want an R1T, this may be the moment, but negotiate on the specific in-stock truck because that's where the dealer flexibility is. And now, the truck that defines this entire shift. Number one, the Tesla Cybertruck. No truck in modern history went from this much hype to this much trouble this fast. Cybertruck sales reportedly collapsed roughly 48% in 2025, with early 2026 quarters hitting record lows. Tesla, a company that almost never discounts new products, has been advertising markdowns of $10,000 and more, and even introduced a cheaper version to chase demand. When Tesla starts cutting prices, inventory is piling up. Period. Give it credit where it's due. The Cybertruck is genuinely fast, seriously capable, and unlike anything else on the road. The engineering is ambitious, and it absolutely turns heads. As a statement, it works. But look at everything working against it at once. The price ballooned far past the promises. Financing costs at today's rates make the monthly payment brutal. Range drops hard when you actually tow, which is what trucks are for. The polarizing design limits its buyer pool. It launched with multiple recalls covering everything from trim pieces coming unglued to structural concerns, which shook confidence in reliability. Resale values have been volatile and unpredictable. And traditional truck buyers, the people who need a workhorse, not a conversation piece, looked at it and quietly walked toward an F-150 Lightning or a Rivian instead. That's the whole story of this list in one truck. Price, financing, capability, reliability worries, depreciation, and shifting buyer trust, all hitting at the same time. It's not one flaw. It's a stack of them. And it matters for the entire market because the Cybertruck was supposed to prove Americans would embrace a radical, expensive electric truck. Instead, it proved that even the most hyped product on Earth can't create demand that was never really there. And that reality is now rippling across the whole EV pickup segment. So, what's the big takeaway here? A truck sitting on a lot doesn't automatically mean it's a bad truck. In almost every case on this list, the real problem is that the price, the equipment, the capability, or the target buyer stopped matching what people are actually willing to pay. A truck that's a tough sell at full sticker can become a genuinely smart buy once a big discount is on the table. But don't ever buy a truck just because the dealer's waving a giant rebate in your face. That rebate is bait. Before you sign, run the real numbers. Long-term reliability, insurance, fuel or charging costs, depreciation, warranty coverage, your financing rate, whether it actually tows what you need, and resale value down the road. Then look at the final out-the-door price, not the monthly payment. The monthly payment is where dealers hide things. So let me hand it to you. Which of these trucks surprised you the most? Which one would you actually buy at the right price? And how big would that discount have to be before you'd sign? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more straight talk analysis on the American vehicle market, the deals, the traps, and where your leverage really is, subscribe and stick around. There's a lot more coming.